Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us Across the Fence. I'm Fran Stoddard. A few months ago, a viewer wrote in to tell us about a new building going up at UVM. With all the construction on campus nowadays, we wondered what would make this structure so different from all the others that it needed our attention. We learned this particular project connects UVM's past to its present, not to mention it will house generations of future campus residents. Keith Silva reports on how this latest UVM building project is turning out.
Sal Chiarelli is a wood turner, and sometimes he makes mistakes.
Sometimes you become impatient and you always try to take that one last cut, maybe to make the bowl a little thinner or something like that. And, sometimes you pop a hole in the bottom and you're like, oh my God, I just ruined this thing,
What Chiarelli's done is turn those mistakes into birdhouses, or works of art. He's not 100% sure.
I don't know if I'll ever consider myself an artist, but I'm a guy who knows how to put some stuff together.
For a craftsman like Chiarelli, the proverbial necessity is the mother of invention is a call to action. So he took the ruined bowls and got to work.
One day I started playing with them and putting them on top of each other to see if I could make something out of them, glue them together, maybe a birdhouse kind of thing. And so that's when I got the idea, maybe I'll just slide them over a pole and kind of make like a totem pole kind of thing with a birdhouse on top. So the first one I made outside was actually a bunch of failed projects that I kind of turned into something unique, And the reaction from, some of my friends and neighbors, that's pretty cool, So then I started designing them to be like that instead of just like mistakes.
The birdhouses begin as wooden planks. Chiarelli laminates the wood using glue and huge clamps. He then uses a lathe to turn this square block of wood into a circle.
A lot of times the wood dictates what you're making. Laminating all those pieces together, making sections, and then interconnecting them with a piece that's of a contrasting color to make it look like it's a continuous flow up to the top.
Over on his metalworking lathe, Chiarelli makes all the jigs and fixtures he uses to do his wood turning.
I learned how to run a metal lathe when I was 13 years old, so I was always around machines growing up. I could make something really precision on metal, and not too many people could get the concept of having make it. But now you make a bowl or present something that's made out of wood, everybody gets it, and it's kind of like something that people could use too on a daily basis. So it's nice to combine the both skills together. I really enjoy the precision of the metal and also the creativity of the wood.
Wood turning affords Chiarelli creativity that he doesn't always get in his day job.
What is your day job?
I'm the director of physical plant at UVM.
UVM's physical plant maintains over 6 million square feet of facilities, from classrooms and research laboratories to offices and athletic fields.
It's on an old athletic field where our story takes a turn. UVM's physical plant needed a new storage facility. Chiarelli saw an opportunity to reuse an old field that hadn't been played on for some time.
UVM used to have a football team, as we know. They were undefeated since 1974, right? And the bleachers that were there were huge. I mean, they seated 5,000, 6,000 people. We actually decided, as a university, we were going to take them down. I saw some value in the structure. The structure was sound. The steel was solid. It was galvanized. It would be up for another 100 years. So we were able to, over the course of 2 years, convert the bleacher structure into a storage facility.
Given his Yankee ingenuity, you can guess what Chiarelli decided to do with the wood from the bleachers.
I thought it would be a nice thing to make one of these birdhouses for the university using that wood. 3 of my kids went to UVM, so I have a real connection between working there. I'm really dedicated to the university and grateful. And so this is kind of like a full circle thing with not only myself, but also with the wood coming from the bleachers, being turned into something that will be standing hopefully for, maybe a dozen or 2 dozen years or something like that.
When the birdhouse is finished, It will be installed in the gardens alongside the Jeffords building.
It's kind of neat to be able to put something together out of nothing. And that's kind of like what I like to do is like, you know, get stuff that like nobody else wants and you can make something really nice out of it. And that makes me feel good, especially knowing that the stuff that I'm making it out of came from the university and it's going back to the university. So even though the bleachers are gone, the story lives on.
From old bleachers to a new feature at UVM, this is a story that's going to turn out all right. In Burlington, I'm Keith Silva with Across the Fence.
Sal continues to find more bits of UVM history to add to the birdhouse. He recently scored some scrap copper from a campus building project that he's going to use for the roof once his birdhouse is complete. Sal Chiarelli has joined me in the studio. It's great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
What a fabulous project and beautiful work. So the latest quickly on the birdhouse.
Well, I have probably about 10 more hours to go before it's complete. All the main parts are done. I have to just make some transition pieces and the top finial. And then hopefully about July 6th, 7th, my son will be up from New York and we'll go dig a hole and put some concrete in and start installing the structure to hold it up. So that's kind of the plan.
Wow, to house a couple families.
Yeah, it's got 4 entry holes, so it's a little bit of a condo.
So awesome.
You know, we have to utilize the real estate as much as we can.
Right. Which you do all the time. So switching gears, let's talk more about your day job as a director of physical plant at the university, which is huge. So just give us a bit of a sense of the size and scope of that job.
Well, the university is approximately 6 million square feet of space in over 200 buildings. And we have so many different systems and ages of buildings. So, you know, the oldest building is 1789, and the newest one is being built right now. You know, the STEM buildings, you know, discovery and innovation. We're finishing up those projects, the research labs. So that's just being finished right now. So that we have everything in between from 1789 to now.
Right. So how do you manage the needs of an historic structure like that with these very, very modern labs? You know, how do you?
Well, you know, historic buildings naturally need different kind of care, and there's different types of regulations for buildings that are historic. And the new buildings have so much technology and new kind of systems in there that you need different types of people that understand both things, you know? So in the new buildings, it's amazing if you just look up at the ceiling on how many things are installed, the fire alarms and the sprinkler systems and the ductwork, and you know, and we have to have people that become experts at these different systems. So the key is having great people, and I'm lucky to have great people.
How many people are in physical plant?
We have about 160 people in our department. And and then we have some contractor support. We have grounds, and you know, take care of the landscape. And the campus right now is beautiful, as it usually is. You know, a couple of months out of the year it's not so beautiful, but weather-wise, not because we're not doing a good job, but you know, the grounds and our central plant. You know, we distribute steam and chilled water. We have a controls group. We have all the trade shops, you know, with all the carpenters and electricians and plumbers and facilities repair people. And, you know, we have a whole management team. We have a work order system, a lot of technology. We have so many uses of technology within our department.
Right. So how do you coordinate the new construction that's going on and all the renovations of the building with kind of your strategic plan that really has to do with the day-to-day and future maintenance of all of these buildings? So
I guess one thing good about facilities people tend to be long-lasting people. They tend not to be high turnover, and they sort of dedicated and have the strategy because they understand by installing things up front the right way, you have better total cost of ownership. So having a strategy with the utilities, you could save money in the long run by putting in the right size things, the right size piping, for instance, knowing that you might be putting a building in 5 years from now instead of going back and digging again and reinstalling piping for a larger size. So understanding the campus, try to standardize where you can. That also helps in minimizing inventory and training, and everybody has to learn how to do. Just imagine what you have in your one house. Imagine like having 50 of those houses to figure it out.
Right. You know? So you're working with contractors and architects probably just from the very beginning.
Right. I mean,
hopefully.
I mean, the architects that are hired for these large projects, the big projects like the STEM building, they're hired by Facilities Design and Construction. That's a sister organization, and we work closely with them in designing the project, because we want to have what we want. Think about all the different systems, the lock systems, the sprinkler systems, the fire alarm systems, just the flooring systems, all the things that we have to maintain. We want to make sure it's good quality so it lasts, and our people have the knowledge and the technology to maintain the systems.
And that there aren't, 20,000 different systems.
We kind of have one of everything that was ever designed and created on campus from 1789 to now.
Do you ever shut everything down?
Well, we shut down the central plant, which is where we distribute steam to like 85–90% of the buildings. So on commencement day, which is usually around May 18th, right after the last person gets their diploma, we kind of shut down the heat plant and the chilled water plant, and we do what we call our annual shutdown. So we do internal inspections of all the equipment and boilers and things like that, code inspections, and make sure everything is running great. So when we start up, we don't have any unforced or forced shutdowns, I would say.
And finally, in your mission statement and vision statement, right at the top is investing in our workforce. So just quickly about that investment in the people that work for you.
So it's important to have great people, and in order to keep and retain great people, you need to invest in them. So promotional opportunities, training, investing in their safety, make sure they come to work, want to come to work and do a good job, and go home safe to the families, and come back the next day to want to do a good job again. And so creating the environment to have that attitude is really important, and we have really great employees, and we do invest in them, and there are opportunities as people retire or leave to advance in the department.
Okay, awesome. And we'll be looking for the birdhouse. About how tall is that going to be? It's
going to be about 14, 15 feet tall, so it's going to be interesting once it's up. It'll be the tallest one I've made so far. I'm up around 13.5 feet now, so it'll be about a foot taller than that one.
Right. Sal Chiarelli, the director of UVM's physical plant, thank you so much for coming in
Thank you for
today.
having me. Appreciate it.
And thank you for joining us across the fence. I'm Fran Stoddard.